Hello my friends and welcome to your practice. I'm so glad that you're here. Let's ground together. So for today you might want to have a blanket handy if you don't have a mat, and perhaps a strap of some sort. That might look like a belt or a scarf or any bit of fabric you've got lying around, or even some trousers could do it as well, and possibly a block, a brick, or a book, perhaps something like that, or a chair could do as well, and you can have those to the side. Make sure you can reach your strap, and depending on how comfy it is for you to lie on the floor, you might want to spread your blanket out on the ground. But we're going to start on our backs with our feet on the floor, so bend your knees, come on down and settle in to greet yourself here. Welcome yourself to your practice today. Just give yourself a moment to land, especially if you've had a lot going on. If you've been busy physically, mentally, emotionally. And for those of you who are quite comfortable to do this in your back, maybe stretch the legs out in front of you. Rest your arms anywhere that feels good. Give yourself some space. So let the toes fall out, turn the palms to face up, let the fingers curl in. And just take a little snapshot at this moment in time. Check in with yourself. And just notice what's connecting with the ground. Can you let the bones sink, get heavy? Maybe notice what's not in contact with the ground, particularly if you're lifting quite a lot. What can you do to release, to drop into the support beneath you? So as we begin our practice, we're just starting with seeing what's here, meeting ourselves wherever we're at without judgment, without needing to change anything. And then building on that, when you feel ready, wiggle the fingers and toes, one by one, bend the knees, bring the feet to the floor, reach for your strap, and we're going to take the right leg up into the air. Hook the strap over your foot. Lots of different ways to do this, lots of different preferences. Personally, lately, because I like to focus on my horseshoe, that is the heel of my foot, I like to have my strap a little bit further back. That just gives me a sense of grounding from a stronger place, but it's totally up to you. You can play with it. So wherever you're strapped up, you want to be able to have some free space, enough so that your shoulders aren't kind of lifting away from the floor, your head and neck aren't straining. You want to be able to rest the head. You want to be able to rest the back of the shoulders and straighten the right leg. So that might mean that your leg is lower down in space. That's totally fine. It's a-okay. You do what you need to do, babes. But whatever you do, see if you can begin to tap into the strength in this right leg. So that means pressing the foot into the strap or whatever it is you're using, pair of trousers, scarf, whatnot. Press the foot into the strap, pull the strap into the foot. Really feel that sense of engagement. Those of you that feel you've got the space to do so, you can stretch the left leg out in front of you. Maybe imagine that there's a kind of sandbag resting on that left leg, so it's nice and heavy. And then as we pause here for a moment, perhaps those of you with the left leg extended as well, perhaps you can reach out through both heels, so press them away from you. Just taking a moment. Find your breath. Notice if there's any unnecessary tension, particularly gripping around the jaw, gripping around the belly. Maybe think about the sides of your body, keeping them long. Quite often when the right leg's up in the air, the right side body gets short. So what can you do to get long? And then we're going to add a little bit of a flow here, a little vinyasa flow. That just means stitching the movement and breath together. So we're going to bend into the right knee, crunchy. Doesn't have to be a lot, it might just be a tiny amount. I'm bringing my right knee towards my right armpit, stacking my right ankle over the knee, there or thereabouts. And it's a pumping action, so straightening that right leg. So that's the movement, bending the knee, and then straightening the leg. We're going to do that 3 times. So go at your own pace. Basically, we're just lubing up the hip joint. At the end of your cycle of 3, you're going to re-bend the knee and just let the leg go and pause for a moment. If it's comfortable, extend both legs. If you need to bend the knees, totally fine. But just pause there. Notice and feel. And there doesn't have to be any change, but maybe you can feel into your left side and your right side. Does one side feel heavier, lighter? There doesn't have to be any change at all. Just notice if there is. Before we move on to the other side, rebend the knees. Grab your strap or strap substitute. Left leg goes up. And first just find yourself in space. So extend that leg up into the air. Make sure you've got a good grip. Rest the head. Front of the throat is soft. Belly soft. Side body long. And then decide if you want to extend the right leg long. If you do, try and make that leg really heavy. Extend out through your horseshoes. So find that tension. It's positive tension. Didn't Block Party have a song called Positive Tension? Anyway. Think again about the side bodies, so keeping that left side body long. Just breathing any way that feels comfortable before beginning to lube up, this time on the left side. So you can probably notice this action is like a lunge, but you're doing it on your back. Chill zone. So trying to stay grounded, 3 cycles. Before then bringing the right leg up into the air. Put that into the strap as well. You might need to adjust the length of your strap or strap substitute. Have your feet hip width distance apart. We're doing a little bit of outer hip work here. So imagine you're trying to pull the strap apart with your feet, but pull the strap with your hands as well. So there's not really going to be much movement at all. But what we're doing is hopefully creating a tension that is going to get into the outer legs, particularly outer hips. Soften the jaw here. This one can be a bit intense. So it's almost like if you flip it, it's like you're doing a kind of half forward fold in space. So really using your horseshoes, press up, pull out, and then release, bend the knees, stretch the legs out. Let's take a quick break. A pause just to notice left side, right side. Take that snapshot. Has there been any change? Doesn't have to be. And then when you're ready, rebend the knees, hug them up towards you. Cross the ankles, one on top of the other. Doesn't matter which, just try and remember which one's on top. Tuck the chin, reach forward, grab hold of your feet if that's accessible. If not, you know you've got your strap. You can always just pull the strap over and hug the knees in towards you. So whatever works, rest your head on the floor. And then we'll switch sides. So stretch the legs up. Cross the other leg on top. And then gently release. Uncross the ankles. Bring the chin towards the chest. You can grab underneath your thighs and then just use your legs to help roll you up if that's comfortable. If not, you're going to roll over onto one side and make your way onto your hands and knees. Slick with it or clunky with it, it's okay. So when you're on your hands and knees, tuck your toes under, send your bum back towards your heels and reach the hands forward. Maybe you can walk them forward enough to bring your forehead to rest on the ground. Don't worry if your forehead doesn't reach, you can always use props like cushions or whatever you need to. to bring the ground to you. So reach out through your hands, press them forward, maybe even lift the fingertips up. But keep the toes tucked so you're opening up through the root of your toes, just really opening, getting some space in there. And when you're ready, inhale, come up onto hands and knees. Feel free to take a little freestyle R&B grind if you need, or a kind of, I don't know what this is. What is this? Paintbrushing. Those of you who've been to my workshops probably familiar with the paintbrushing. We're just kind of getting into the shoulders, swaying around, just acting a fool, and it's all good. Everything is welcome. So down dog, set yourself up. You know the drill, or if you do know the drill and you're familiar and you've got to practice, go straight in for it. If not, up to you whether you want your hands facing forward or turning out a little bit. Personal preference, so do what you need to do. Toes tucked just like you did with your child's pose variation just then. Press the weight back, lift the knees, and then send your horseshoes towards the ground behind you. Your feet don't have to touch the ground completely, so don't worry about if the heels don't touch the floor. But see if you can send the weight back in space, and we can play with that by bending the knees, reaching the tail up and back, and re-straightening the legs. All right, so let's get into a little bit more flow. Inhale, reach the right leg up into the air. Exhale, step the right foot forward. So we're just going to be in a lunge here now, and we're going to pulse the back knee up and down. Feel free to do that in your own time. Just playing with strength through the back leg. Front knee stacked over front ankle. And here I also like to sway one ear at a time towards my shoulder. So I'm just kind of stretching out through my neck, trying to release tension. And then step it back to down dog when you're ready. So we were doing that on our back, kind of. We're just flipping it now. Left leg, inhale, reach up and back. Exhale, step the left foot forward into a lunge. So once again, set yourself up, so front knee over front ankle, and feel free just to play with finding that strength, particularly in the back leg. So you're bending the knee and then reaching the horseshoe back while stacking front knee over front ankle. So this should help you tap into your strength, really working the legs here, but also hopefully releasing tension from around the neck. When you're ready, step it back. Down dog. Whew. Taking a breath in down dog. Nice, and then just step the right foot forward, many steps as you need to make it happen. And you're going to pivot to the side, turning the feet so that they're parallel. And at this point, if the ground feels far away, use a block, or you can use a chair or books underneath your hands. You want to turn the toes in just a little bit, spread them out, and then send the weight into your horseshoes. So very much rooting, grounding through the legs. And then from here, you're going to bring your left hand underneath your face, right hand to right hip. And now think about your right elbow. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, send your right elbow up towards the ceiling and twist. So you can be on fingertips here. Flat palm, fist, block, chair, whatever works. Nice, so you're in a twist. You're turning your chest towards the right side of the room. So you're going to bend into your left knee deeply. Take an inhale, press into your horseshoes. As you exhale, maybe you can straighten the leg and rotate a little bit deeper. Maybe. Send the weight into your horseshoes. And then release. Oh. So right hand comes down underneath your face, left hand to left hip. Take a moment, deep inhale, root into your horseshoes. As you exhale, rotate your left elbow up towards the ceiling and back behind you. Maybe the chest can rotate. So you know the drill. This time, right knee bends deeply. Deep inhale. As you exhale, maybe you can find some more space in your twist. So I'm keeping hand on the hip at this point. I also like to gaze down, soften the neck. Some people like to extend the arm. Do what you like to do, babes. And then unravel, bring everything back round. Take a moment in your horseshoes, deep inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, fold it forward. So let the head go, back of the neck is long. And then walk the hands forward, so it's like a really wide down dog, but stay in your horseshoes here. Nice. On your next inhale, walk the hands back towards you. So hands underneath shoulders, bend the knees a little, bring the hands to the hips, deep inhale, and slowly come on up. All right, so keeping the legs wide, let's move into triangle pose. So turn your front toes out, reach your front arm up, deep inhale. As you exhale, get really, really long, 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 reach, and then windmill the arms. Maybe the top arm can release. Gaze anywhere that feels comfortable, but see if you can turn your belly away from your low leg. Yeah, it's very subtle, but maybe you can tap into it. Really nice. And we're going to move into Halfmoon Pose. I know, bonkers. So top hand, I find it's often helpful to bring the hand to the hip. Gaze down, bend the front knee, and now take your front fingertips a little bit forward. I'm just going to bring my foot back so you can see a bit better. You're going to ground into your front horseshoe. So remember your horseshoe here for balance. And see if you can shift the weight into that front leg. Even though the weight is in the front leg, think about the back horseshoe working as well. Reach it away from you and then start to extend. Maybe it's just the same as triangle pose, right? Except a lot harder because you're balancing on one leg. Gaze down, maybe turn the belly away from the low leg, maybe extend the top arm, maybe. Don't worry if you're wobbly, take care of yourself. Nice, so we'll go back out the way we went in. So land on the ground, find that support, come all the way up and switch sides. Well done, you did that. It's quite intense. You did great. I know you did. So other side, reach back arm up, up, up. As you exhale, get long, get really long through the side body, just like you were doing on the floor. And then windmill, rotate, turning the belly away from the low leg. You've got this. Find your horseshoes. Imagine your horseshoes are hugging together, hugging towards each other. Hopefully that gives you a real sense of stability. Gaze down, top hand to top hip. Bend that back knee. Find your balance. Find Halfmoon Pose. So your half moon might mean both knees are bent. That's totally fine. Maybe you can reach out through the horseshoes. And if you fall out, like me, it's a-okay. This is balance. Good time to mention that if you're by a wall, you can do this at a wall if you're developing your balance. It can be really helpful. Another way to support yourself with balance is to use your gaze, so focusing on one thing at a time, maybe a point on the floor. So coming out the way we went in, bend the knee, come all the way up, turn the feet so that they're parallel, turn the feet in a little bit actually. Nice, inhale, lift the chest, open up the front body, exhale, fold it forward, maybe bringing hands to the ground. Some of you might want to walk your hands through. Here, I quite like to slide my hands down the backs of the legs and just reach for those horseshoes. Up to you, you can also reach the hands forward, do what you like. Either way, give yourself some space, but ground into those horseshoes. Know that you can bend the knees if you need to. Just take a moment to meet yourself here. And then when you're ready, release your hands. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, soften the tongue. Bend the knees, hands to hips, press into the feet, come all the way up. And then bring the feet closer together. We're going to squat our way down to the floor. So knees can face forward or feet and knees can turn out. So we're going to explore squatting to get to the floor. So get there however you like, however you need to. And maybe that's a practice today, just exploring that. what feels good for my body. Take it nice and slow. Come down to the floor, hands reach out behind you. We're taking it back to the floor. We're nearly there. So last super active posture. Roll the shoulders back, bring the navel in towards the spine. And then maybe you can pick up the feet. Give yourself a, why do I do this? A foot round of applause. Clap the feet. Maybe lift the feet up a little bit more. Maybe this is where you stay. Maybe you also add hands. Jazz hands. Ooh, keep the navel in. Keep lifting. So especially lifting around here. Lifting your way up. Maybe some of you want to take peace fingers to your big toes, hook them in. Maybe, maybe, maybe. Almost like you were lying on your back with your feet in that strap. Press out through your horseshoes. Doesn't matter if you're here, 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 wherever. Take a breath, just because. Then release the feet if you've got hold of them. We're going to make our way towards the ground, but see how slow we can go. Navel towards the spine, navel in. Start to lower, 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 hover, hover. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So limbs are raised. We're going to make our way down in 3, 2, 1, and then release to the floor. Take a moment to be grateful for this support. Always available to us. The support that enables us to feel held, offers us focus, clarity. All right, so if you're done for today, feel free to stay here. Those of you joining me for like a last hurrah, bend the knees. We're going to take a little bridge pose, very gentle, super chill. So up to you here where you want to have your arms. Some people like them overhead. Some like them by their side. Some people like to grip a mat. Up to you here, but think about your horseshoes. Press into those horseshoes, so the heels of your feet. Press down, 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 and super slow. See how slow you can go to really be mindful about the spine releasing. As you press into your horseshoes, think about your thighs and your knees reaching forward. So you're sending them away from you. So we're trying to open up, especially through the hip flexors. Tap into that support. Press into the horseshoes. Nice. And up to you if you want to roll up and down here, or if you want to stay here in space, maybe even interlace fingers underneath you. If that's part of your practice, go for it. Some of you might feel like going into wheel pose here. If that's your bag and you've got a regular practice, go for it. Wherever you are though, give yourself a chance to really make this practice your own. Front of the throat is soft. Soften your gaze. A few more moments. Either you're rolling up and down, holding bridge pose, maybe you're in wheel. Wherever you're at, make your way back to earth. When you touch ground, widen the feet. Bring the knees together, rest the hands on the front of your hips if that's comfortable. Take a moment. And then separate the knees. Hug the feet in, hug the knees in towards you. Move them around a little. Stretch the legs out. Pause. Rest. Notice. How do you feel? So take a little snapshot. Remember, there's nothing to change here, unless something's not feeling so comfortable, in which case, what can you do to make this position more cozy? What can you release to the ground? And then if you feel like it, just slowly take a deep inhale. Pausing at the top of your inhale, open your mouth and exhale. to wiggle fingers and toes. And then slowly, one by one, bend the knees, bring the feet to the floor. Maybe sway the knees a little side to side. Bring the knees to center, hug them up towards you. Maybe move the knees around. Any direction that feels good. Important to make it feel good for your body. And when you're ready, just roll over onto one side, pausing there for a moment. Maybe making a pillow for your head. Still allowing the weight to sink towards the ground. So surrender your weight into the support beneath you. And then using one hand, you press it into the floor. Bring yourself up to sitting. Make it comfortable. Feel free to sit on something. And take a moment here, still solid and heavy in the base. Turn the palms to face up, soften the belly. And then we'll just do one last vinyasa with our breath and movement. As you inhale, mirror with your hands, reaching the hands up. As you exhale, turn the palms to face down. Go at your own pace, synchronizing the movement with your breath. And on your last round, we're going to reach the arms wide and overhead this time. Deep inhale. Bring the palms together and exhale. Draw them down towards your chest. Bring the chin towards the chest, just focusing on your fingertips. So many tools can help us anchor and ground. The simplest being just simply remembering that the ground is beneath us and there to support us. Our breath is a wonderful tool for this too, as is our gaze, especially if there's a lot of information floating around or you're feeling a bit pulled in different directions. Trust and know that you have access to these tools to bring yourself back. Even if you feel really far away from yourself, you can always come back. So give yourself a bow to you for your practice. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you feel anchored, and yeah, we're in this together. Thanks for being part of this community. Let me know how you go. Well done.